Now today I am going to talk about Lal Kitab remedies. Now many people have a problem with Lal Kitab because there is so much of confusion about Lal Kitab. But Lal Kitab uses the principle of polarity. If the planets are badly placed, don't try to strengthen the planets. If the planets are well placed, then try to strengthen the planet. Now we will take one of the important aspects of Venus. If the Venus is in the 6th house, what is a remedy should be done? Lal Kitab writes very clearly that please put the socks, ask your wife to put the socks in the house and go about it. Now this will look like a very different remedy, but it can be understood with a easy logic. Now whenever a woman comes into a person's life, it is called as Mahalakshmi. They say Mahalakshmi ghar aate hai. So when your Venus is afflicted, the Mahalakshmi part of it is afflicted, which means when a woman walks into your house, you are not going to have a good luck. So can you not get married? Can you not, what you call it as, avoid this? You cannot avoid this. So for that you use a upaya. If our leg touches the ground, then you will have a lot of bad luck which will get followed. So to avoid the bad luck, what they ask you to do in Lal Kitab is you put the socks and wear and walk. So when a woman walks in the house wearing a socks, technically it means she is not touching the ground. So the malefic effect of Venus will come down. This is a very common and a very easy way of doing the remedies across. The problem with many people is they don't look at Lal Kitab in a very easy and a fascinating manner. Now instead of that, they get very esoteric about it. Now for example, you take the various lords, for example, you take Venus. For example, Meena Lagna, the 3rd and the 8th house become Venus. So many people have divorced. So the problem with Meena Lagna is many people have a very disturbed married life because if the Mercury and the Sun are very equally placed, they can go into 6, 8, 12 and they can get into problem. So the problem is this remedy can be applied for Meena Lagna. It need not be applied. And whenever Venus is in 6, 8, 12 from the Lagna, you can apply the remedy. For example, Dhanus Lagna, Venus is in 6th house, you can ask people to wear a socks, their wife. So please understand and apply the remedy with common sense, then trying to get fixated and simply do the remedy. For example, generally, Simha Lagna has problem in marriage because the 6th and the 7th lord is the same. The enemy house and the marriage house is the same. So invariably, they have a lot of misunderstanding, problem into their married life. Their married partner becomes the enemy across. So therefore, if you tell them to wear socks, it would probably aggravate the situation because the woman is not going to listen. So somebody asked me, how do you solve this problem? I told borrow money, which is the 6th house, spend money on the hospitals, and the third most important thing, I told them, have a small court case which it will not aggravate for you as a person. So therefore, the upayas which is told in Lal Kitab, if you apply it with common sense, you can really use it to overcome a lot of negative karma as a person. For example, Kataka Lagna, the 7th and the 8th lord becomes the same. So when the 8th lord becomes the same, I said, give a thing for the toilets. I mean, give harpic or brush or something like that for the toilet. And also don't ask your wife to clean the toilet. Now, if your wife were to clean the toilet, it would become really bad. The marriage will have a lot of problem. And also make sure that you change the underwear quite often, which will help you to have a better time. And also don't go into the bed with old clothes. Try to wear a fresh pair of pants and also the what you call underwears, which will be very helpful for you as a person. So this way Lal Kitab can be modified as a thing and it can be applied. And whenever in the Gochar Venus goes into 6, 8, 12, you need to be very careful. At that point of time, don't try to have a physical contact or sexual contact with your wife, which will be very, very helpful to you as a person. So this way, Lal Kitab can be applied with lot of modification and with lot of understanding than trying to be very, very rigid about the rules which you are applying across. Lal Kitab is a remedial measure book. Lal Kitab is not a fatalistic book. If that Roop Chand were to believe that everything is fate, nothing can be changed across, then it would be very, very difficult. Now, for example, there is another remedy which is there in the Lal Kitab, which says if Saturn is in the 5th house, take almonds to the temple and bring it back. Normally, when you go to when Saturn is there, that place become weak, and also nothing comes inside that. So almonds represents Venus. The opposite of Saturn is Venus. Whenever you buy objects connected to the Venus, you reduce the impact of Saturn. For example, you buy beautiful objects, you buy new objects, you buy objects which are glass oriented, which are very colorful, which are of the latest technology. The impact of Saturn comes down very, very drastically in the horoscope. So if the Saturn is not well placed in the horoscope and you want to reduce the malefic aspects of Saturn, now this is a very, very good theory to follow. Also, somebody asked me, what happens if Saturn is in Mesh? What happens if Saturn is in Rishabh? I told very, very clearly, if the Saturn becomes the 10th Lord, try to donate money to old age homes. Whenever you donate money to old age homes, you will become more successful if the Saturn is the 10th Lord. So this is also a way to apply the Lal Kitab. Instead of weakening the Saturn, you can strengthen the Saturn by lighting lamp, by doing abhisheka, by doing the puja, by also aligning with the opposite direction. For example, if the west is very weak, you align with the eastern direction across. So therefore, this is a very fascinating way to apply Lal Kitab in a very modified fashion. People try to mug up the things and people try to insist that you should wear woolen socks. Suppose in Lal Kitab it is written you should wear a woolen socks. Now what happens in a summer time, in a winter time or a rainy time, this will all look very good. But instead of that, you can tell them, please wear slippers inside the house and walk, which will be very, very easy for you as a person. So remedial measure has to be applied with lot of common sense, with a lot of understanding than trying to do things across. For example, Saturn is afflicted. I told people when they're having a bad time in their career, please do not face the western direction and please do not wear blue clothes which will bring you a lot of problem. A lot of people wear blue jackets and all that thing. I know one person who had Mars afflicted. Whenever he wore red clothes, there was a lot of misunderstanding with the bosses across. He asked me why. I said since Saturn is in Kanya, the 3rd and the 8th Lord is that of Mars, so be careful about it as a person. So you can apply a Lal Kitab in a very, very easy manner than trying to you can avoid it. For example, if to weaken Saturn, you can have physical contact with your wife or your husband quite often, which will improve the quality of the Venus, because Saturn becomes the opposite graha. So the point is, many people don't understand weakening and strengthening principles in astrology. There is no proper book in terms of remedial measure other than the book what I have written and also the classes what I have done across. Therefore, I request you to buy those classes on remedial measure and books on remedial measure, which has helped many people, and it is elaborately being well written about what to do with different situation and what are the kind of remedies you need to do it across. So therefore, I request you to understand the principle of Lal Kitab before you apply. Thank you.